Denise, Denise, it's Denise, it's Denise, it's Denise, Denise, it's a podcast party, it's a podcast party, it's a podcast party.
I gotta say, I feel like we're besties now after this. What's up, guys? It's Denise Salcedo. Hey there, everyone. It is Denise. Welcome to my NXT 2.0 show recap. Today, it is March 22nd. We are about 2 weeks away from NXT Stand and Deliver, so we are making our way there. But we got a pretty fun show here today to talk about. A lot of matches that were made, some changes to some of the matches, which we're going to be talking about here today. Lots to get into in just a minute. But before I get started, I do want to go ahead and give you guys a quick reminder that this week I will be live 3 times this week. I will be live today, tomorrow for AEW, and then Friday I will be back for Smackdown and Rampage. So it is a loaded weekend of shows. So I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in each and every single week. Also, there is a question from our viewer, from one of our viewers who's always here, by the way. So I definitely wanted to answer this question. This is from the Cooch97, who wanted to know if it was my voice in the Mission Pro Wrestling Bangers Only video package that was shown. So just to confirm, that was definitely me. For those of you who were like, that voice sounded familiar, it was definitely mine. So thank you to the Cooch97 for asking. I wanted to make sure that I confirmed that officially to you. But anyways, we got a show to get into here today. So welcome, everybody. Let's get right to it. We're going to kick things off with the match that kicked off the show, and we had Sakoa versus Roderick Strong. This was a qualifying match for the ladder match that's taking place at NXT Stand and Deliver for the NXT North American Championship. Already in that match is Santos Escobar and Carmelo Hayes. So we still got people to fill up, and they definitely filled it up here today. And then next week, we're going to find out who the last person being added to that match is. So I got to say, I thought that they kicked off NXT today in a really good way. I very much enjoyed this match between Sakoa and Roderick Strong. I think I enjoyed it because this to me was like one of the first times where I saw Sakoa in a different light. Like I did end up liking a lot of what he did with Boa, but at the end of the day, it wasn't really a storyline that I felt that I could really take seriously. And even though this was just a match, not necessarily a storyline, it was just a qualifying match, I thought that this was Sakoa's best match in NXT so far that I can recall. This was the one that I kind of saw him in a different light, like where instead of just seeing him as Sakoa, I saw him as, more of somebody that's like, okay, I can see the Usos in you. I can see the bloodline in you. Like, this is the first time to me that Sakoa felt like bigger than NXT. So I really enjoyed that match for this specific reason. On top of that, one of the things that I enjoyed was the back and forth action that we got between Sakoa and Roderick Strong. So we finally got to see Sakoa really just kind of like, he dominated a lot of this match. A lot of this match we saw, we saw him hitting multiple strikes on Roderick Strong, and that was kind of like the way that things got started. But Roderick Strong quickly kind of turned the tables around in this match for Sakoa because he ended up getting him with like multiple strikes, getting him with some submission work, etc. So I feel like even though Sakoa really shined in this match, Roderick Strong just brought so much aggression with all of his strikes that I couldn't help but to love this match here. Now, we did end up seeing Santos Escobar. He came out, and for a second I thought, man, I really hope that they don't give this match some like goofy finish because I'm really enjoying it. But they didn't have him do anything. He came out, he stood there, he didn't get himself technically involved in the actual match. So I liked that. I was happy about that. And we ended up seeing Sakoa hit a splash, and he gets the win. And now he is the third man announced for the NXT North American Championship ladder match that's taking place at Stand and Deliver. So as of this point in the show, we had Santos Escobar, Carmelo Hayes, and now Solo Sakoa added to this. And I do think that Sakoa was the right person to actually add to this match. So this was good. I liked it. Good stuff, man. Let's go ahead and see what we got here and see what people are saying in this chat here today. And let's see if we got any comments on this match here. Okay, for the most part, this is from Tony, who says, the bloodline continues to flow for Solo Sikoa. Great match between the Street Champion and Roderick Strong. Someone wants to know if I thought this match was better than the match that he had with Walter. Well, I enjoyed the match with Walter. I just thought that this one was better, particularly for Solo Sikoa. So I am going to go with this match over the Walter match. And maybe that's recency bias, but I'm going to definitely go with this match specifically for Solo Sikoa and like his career on NXT. And let's see what we got here, guys. This one is from Drew Scott, who says, you think Strong gets called up soon? I don't really see anything left for him in NXT. Don't really see him doing much on the main roster either. Kind of feel bad for him. Yeah, it's one of those situations where he's one of those guys where you're like not really sure where he fits in. And we've had that for a couple of guys for a while. We saw that. Obviously, we saw things kind of go a different direction for Pete Dunne. He was one of those guys, though, that for a while I thought, is he going to stay on NXT 2.0? Is he going to get moved up? Like, what's the whole deal with him? Well, he ended up getting called up, and now he's Butch. So, and then same thing with Tommaso Ciampa. He was another guy that we were like, well, what's going to go on with him? What's going to happen? And thankfully, like, he is still like, making strides and all of that on NXT. Like, for the most part, he's been doing a lot of good stuff on this like new era of NXT, working a lot with Bron Breakker, whether they're opponents, whether they're tag teams. He's been doing a good job on that end. And then also getting to appear on the main roster, getting a couple of matches there. But even so, it's still one of those things where you're like, what's going to go down with these people? There's some people that just don't really fit the NXT 2.0 era. And then you also can't see them going to the main roster, not because you don't think they have it, but because that they're not the kind of guy that they're looking for, or a person that they're looking for, rather. And let's go ahead and continue on from here, guys. This is a comment from Justin, who says, Roddy is a consummate professional, and he really got the best out of new guy like Sakoa. It was good stuff. I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed seeing Roderick Strong in this match with Sakoa. So this was good stuff. Let's go ahead and move on to a match that I didn't really enjoy. This was Dexter Loomis versus Tony D'Angelo. Now, both of these guys, Tony D'Angelo, the stuff that I've liked from him is whenever he's involved, like everything that he did with Pete Dunne, I loved. I loved everything that he did with Pete Dunne. I love that they're transitioning him into Tommaso Ciampa. All of that is great. But I didn't really love this pairing of Dexter Loomis and Tony D'Angelo. And I think a lot of that has to do with Dexter Loomis. And he's not really, in my opinion, the kind of opponent that I want to see Tony D'Angelo face. Like, he's not that opponent for Tony D'Angelo. Tony does better with guys that are, going to come in and they're going to be like, kicking ass and whatnot, and more of like the badassery. I don't know how else to explain it, but more badassery from those guys that we're seeing Tony D'Angelo in the ring with. But for Dexter Loomis, we haven't really even seen him wrestle on NXT since like January, okay? I went back and checked because I couldn't even remember the last match that Dexter Loomis had on NXT, and turns out the last match that he had on NXT was back on, let me see, what date did I write down? January something. Oh yeah, January 18th was the last time we saw him wrestle on NXT. It was in a match against Grayson Waller, and it was one of those where like Grayson Waller hadn't gotten any wins at this point, and he desperately needed some wins, so they sacrificed Dexter Loomis to him. But other than that, like, we haven't seen Dexter Loomis do much. So anyway, so we had this match. There really wasn't anything that I particularly loved about it. For the finish, we ended up seeing like Persia Parada get involved, and she ends up fighting with Tony D'Angelo for this like crowbar. She's like trying to take it away from him, and he like wants it. And while they're like battling for this crowbar, he ends up hitting Tony D'Angelo ends up hitting Dexter Loomis with the crowbar. And so you end up, the referee doesn't see it, and he ends up getting the win here. So Dexter Loomis, I feel bad for him, but it's not looking too good for him right now on the NXT 2.0 roster. Him losing to Grayson Waller like 3 months ago or 2 months ago, whatever, coming into this match with Tony D'Angelo, having it be like a really nothing match, and then losing the way that he did, it's not looking too good for him whatsoever. But after this match, so I don't know what's going to go on with Dexter Loomis, guys. Like, Dexter Loomis right now, I think is I think they need to adjust his character. I feel like they've hit the ceiling with what Dexter Loomis can be as this, like, I don't even know what he's supposed to be anymore. He's supposed to be creepy, but then at the same time, he's supposed to be this lovable guy. I don't know. His character's a little confusing. So I feel they've hit the ceiling with Dexter Loomis. But after this match, we did get a post-match promo from Tony D'Angelo where he's calling out Tommaso Ciampa and basically saying that he is going to be the new dawn of NXT, and that the new dawn of NXT is arriving at Stand and Deliver. We end up getting Tommaso Ciampa attacking him from behind, which I didn't like this. I didn't like Tommaso Ciampa attacking him from behind, because that's not really who Tommaso Ciampa is. Like, Tommaso Ciampa is the guy that comes out directly to your face and will punch your lights out directly to your face. So I didn't love the behind, the attack from behind. I didn't love that either. But either way, he gets in Tony D'Angelo's face and he basically tells him, like, hey, if this is going to be my last chapter in NXT, then I'm going to write myself a nice fairy tale ending. So there you go. We are going to be seeing Tony D'Angelo versus Tommaso Ciampa at NXT Stand and Deliver. So that should be fun. I'm looking forward to that. But let's go ahead and see what you guys think. How do you guys feel about the Dexter Loomis situation? Because it kind of feels like there isn't much to go with there. This is a comment from Isaac Looper, who says his character needs to go away. They need to rebrand him. They really, really do. Drew says future 24/7 champ Dexter Loomis. It's true, though. If Dexter Loomis were to go to the main roster with this character, I don't see him like feuding with Damian Priest or Finn Balor. No, I see him like on the 24/7 division, for whatever the division is, because really the division is just like Tozawa, Tamina, Dana Brooke, and Reggie. That's literally the 24/7 championship division. But anyways, I kind of see him there because his character, it's hit a shelf. It's hit its limit. That's it, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and see what people are saying. This is from Zeno Hour, who says, BTW, last week's makeout session does indeed have 13 million views on TikTok. I think we now know who this storyline is for. Now, here's the thing. I'm a person that has been on TikTok, okay? I have like over 100,000 followers on TikTok, okay? I used to be on TikTok before TikTok was a thing, and I even stopped doing TikTok because it burned me out. And it's just not for me anymore. But I try every now and then. Anyways, but here's the thing that we need to talk about in regards to TikTok. Because of the way that app is designed and the way that it is so addicting, where you just like swipe and swipe and swipe, and you just watch a bunch of nonsense videos, some of which aren't even good, and they have millions of views. I don't know how. I have literally watched the dumbest videos on TikTok, and I can feel my brain turning into mush. Like, don't get me wrong, there are some good videos. Like, there are some good stuff on TikTok where I'm like, oh, you know what? That was really funny, or that was creative. But for all of those funny, creative videos, there's also a shit ton of like horrible videos on TikTok, okay? And I've seen some stuff where I'm like, oh my God, how did that get millions of views? And I know you guys, if you are on TikTok, I know you have at least a couple of times seen a video and you're just like, how the frick did that get like X amount of millions of views? How? It literally makes no sense. But anyway, so with that being said, I feel that because the way the app is designed, just because it got 13 million views doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good, like, it's a good thing, right, for numbers, but doesn't necessarily make it good. It doesn't necessarily mean like, hey, this is what we want to see. I don't think that it's an indicator of what people want to see. At the end of the day, you probably had like a bunch of like teenagers growing on TikTok and they're like, what the frick is going on? These people are making out. I don't know. Maybe it popped up in someone's For You page. I just feel that the way that TikTok is designed, it's a lot easier to get these vast amount of views for videos that aren't necessarily like OMG. But yeah, I do believe that they definitely got this 13 million views for sure. Which tells us now that they're going to do more of this, because a lot of people are going to think that just because it got this amount of views that it's working and it's going to draw people in. But, and who knows, it might. There might be some people that are like, hey, so there's making out and wrestling. Let me check this out. I don't know. I got to read the comments or something and see what the comments were all about and what the comments were saying. Now, I did not mean to go on a TikTok rant here, but anyways. Brandon Rosen says 13 million views doesn't mean 13 million likes. Exactly. There you go. It could just be 13 million people passing the video around saying, look how bad that is. Not even that, guys. Like, I don't know. It gets so hard to explain because unless you're on TikTok and unless you've been sucked into this TikTok hole, it's like another dimension. You like keep watching videos and you swipe. And I've gotten to the point where like a video starts off, right? And you're wondering, like, how is this video going to end? Like, you're always waiting for the punchline. You're always waiting for how is the video going to end? Because there's got to be some reward at the end of this video. Because a lot of videos are like that on TikTok. They start off a certain way, and then there's like a reward at the end, like a punchline, like, oh, this is why you watched it. Ha ha. This is why it was funny. Or this is why it was an interesting TikTok to watch. And so I think that that's part of the appeal of TikTok, is that it keeps you there watching a video because you want to see how it ends. I don't know. This is just my experience on TikTok. So anyways, moving on from this, let's see what else we got here. Let's see what people are saying and how they feel about this. This is from Justin, who says, it's ironic that the Loomis character succeeded more on Triple H's wrestling-focused NXT than he has on the new sports entertainment-driven NXT. I get it. This is from Draper Don, who says, I only follow NXT 2.0 through your recap shows here, Denise. I've not watched a single episode of the updated NXT. I don't think I'm the only one. Oh my God. I don't know what that says about my reviews. That probably means that my reviews are like, I'm very honest with it. Like, I'm very honest with all my review shows. And that's the one thing that I've said so many times on NXT. Like, for the NXT 2.0 shows, there have been some really good shows. Like, there have been some very well thought out shows. There have been a lot of shows that I've enjoyed more than Smackdown, believe it or not. And there's a lot of matches that I've really enjoyed. So like, I feel like I'm definitely honest with how I feel about NXT 2.0. But with that being said, there's also a lot of stuff that you're just like, So it's hit or miss. You see what happens. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. This is from Haj Gulashi, who says, plus how all the social media counts, a view is different, can be seen as 3 seconds of a video. That's true too. Yeah. You never know like how many seconds of a video is being seen. Like on YouTube, well, actually, TikTok now provides analytics. So you can go and see like your analytics. I don't know if they tell you how much time was watched, but like on YouTube, you know, like how much the average viewer, like what the average watch time for a certain video was. And it'll tell you, like, YouTube is very specific. I don't know. I don't think TikTok is this specific, but like YouTube will tell you when people tune out of your video, like the exact moment. All right, let's go ahead and move on from here. All righty. So after this, we got into Fallon Henley versus Elektra Lopez. And let me see. Where do I want to start off with this? All right. So I want to say that too. I want to give some positives here. Okay. And here are my positives. For Elektra Lopez, I feel that she is very comfortable, very confident in who she is, who her persona is on camera. So I want to give her kudos for that, because when she's supposed to be like, you know, this badass boss woman, right? That's who she's supposed to be. When she comes out, I believe it. Oh, I buy it 1000%. Like, this woman is a boss. She's a jefa. She is going to, whatever she says goes. So I want to put that over because I don't think I've put that over in the past. And it's something that I feel she's been doing for a long time. So I do want to get that across. For Fallon Henley, I didn't get to see much of her work in AEW because I don't get to watch AEW Dark or Dark Elevation. I just don't have the time for it. So I didn't get to see like her work there. So really all I have been able to see is her work here on NXT 2.0. And I think this is mainly like, it's probably like her second or third match, second, somewhere around there. She hasn't been on NXT much, okay? So she is still fairly new to me and fairly new to the NXT audience. So what I do want to say is they leave me wanting to see more with Fallon Henley. I haven't been able, because I didn't get to see her past work, I haven't been able to decipher how I feel about Fallon. I don't feel they've given me enough just yet. Like, during this match, I kept thinking like, this match is really just to put over Elektra Lopez. This is for Elektra Lopez to look good. They want her to look powerful. They want her to look mean. They want her to look aggressive. They want her to be all these things. So the focus was Elektra Lopez during this, but I didn't get to see much of Fallon Henley. Like, she didn't do enough in this match for me to say like, okay, that's what she brings to the table. I wasn't able to really decipher that. So that's what I mean by you leave me wanting more with Fallon Henley because I haven't seen enough just yet. Now, granted, she's still new to NXT 2.0, but I do want to say that she has a phenomenal look. Fallon has a great look where I'm excited, like literally just based off of like her look, her presentation. I want to see what else she's going to be bringing to the table. Anyway, so there was a lot of like hair pulling in this match. So we did see a lot of that. I did think the referee was a little too lenient, but at the same time, I think that might be like all that Elektra Lopez could really do. So she does feel a little bit more limited in the ring, which is also why I don't think we got to see much of Fallon Henley because there's probably only so much that those two can do together. So I think that's another thing to discuss. We did get to see an outside brawl between Briggs and Jensen and Joaquin and Raul Mendoza on the outside of the ring. So chances are we're probably going to see a tag team match between them at some point. But Lopez does get the win. So this was really just to highlight Elektra Lopez and give her the win. But other than that, there's really nothing else much to add. But wow. Bridget Hewlett. Bridget says, Bridget sends in a massive super chat. Bridget, you're amazing. You're amazing. Bridget says, "Hi Denise, I wanted to get my super chat in tonight. I won't be able to watch live Wednesdays. I will be celebrating my 31st anniversary. Thank you for your hard work. Two things, Bridget. BTW, your package that I've been promising you is in my living room. It is all packaged up. I just need to send it to the post office. I know I DM'd you and I told you I was going to do that. I'm going to do that. It's on my to-do list. Like, you're on my to-do list. So thank you so much for all of the super chats that you have been sending in. On top of that, congratulations on your 31st anniversary. That is incredible. Sending you lots of love and thank you so much for this very generous super chat. Guys, Bridget is so awesome. Please give her some love in the chat. She needs a lot of love. Like, I'm going to buy confetti and start throwing confetti at these streams now, guys. I just feel like I need to express that. Bridget, thank you so much for the massive super chat. All right, let's go ahead and see what else we got here. This is a question from JD Varnell who says, when do you think that NXT 2.0 might decide on a storyline between Elektra Lopez versus Nikita Lyons? Oh, that I'm pretty sure that's like probably going to be like the biggest story for Elektra Lopez and the biggest thing for Nikita Lyons. Like right now they're doing Nikita Lyons is still feuding with Lash Legends. Like, that's what she's supposed to be doing. Although they didn't bring any of that up on today's show, unless I missed it. I don't recall them furthering that feud tonight, unless I missed it, but I don't remember. And then Elektra Lopez, she's kind of just, floundering around. But I think at some point, it is bound to happen. It is going to happen. I don't know when, but it is. Thank you so much for asking here. And let's go ahead and see what else we got here, guys. See what people are saying. Zeno Hour says, if Elektra Lopez versus Nikita Lyons ever happens, I might pass out. My heart can't handle it. My goodness, guys. My goodness. And Joel Fernandez confirms there was nothing between Lash Legend and Nikita today. I don't even want to see the Twitter comments or the chat whenever they do Electra Lopez and Nikita. It is going to be a very, very erotic conversation amongst people. I don't know. All right, let's move on from this. Let's see what else we got here. After this, we got Bron Breakker versus Robert Roode. So I actually thought that this was going to be either the main event or the semi-main event. Like, okay, I figured probably the women's Dusty Cup finals would be the main event, but I was expecting this to be semi-main event. I wasn't expecting it to go on during this portion of the show. I kind of felt dumb because I made them the face of my thumbnail for this video, and I'm like, damn, and they're in the middle of the show, and I put them as the face of this thumbnail. Well, way to go. Bad planning, Denise. But anyway, so this was good. I liked this. This was good, and the crowd was supremely into it. We got this is awesome chance and this and that. Now, let me emphasize, this was good for like NXT, like NXT 2.0. This was good. This wasn't like a match of the week for me, at least, but it was good. So I don't want to take away from that. I think the reason I particularly liked this match was more so because instead of seeing, Bron Breakker, they're building him up, right? Perfectly fine. That's what we want to see. But I feel that having Bron Breakker beat guys or dominate guys like Robert Roode versus like your random jobber that they could have pulled up, it is more impressive to see him beat guys that are, on the main roster that are more established in WWE than he is in Robert Roode. So like Robert Roode was kind of the perfect opponent for Bron Breakker because Robert he's a good sized fella. He went at it back and forth with Bron Breakker, but it just wasn't enough to actually, get a win over Bron Breakker. So for me, like this victory over Roode meant a lot more than if it would have been over like your Andre Chases of the world, It just means a lot more. So I particularly really liked this. I knew that we were going to get Bron Breakker winning. Obviously, I would have been pissed if he didn't win. I would have been livid. I really liked the spine buster from Robert Roode to Bron Breakker. I thought it looked really nice. I liked the clothesline that was followed by the spear from Bron Breakker. That was good. He went for the pin after that, but it ended up being a near fall. We see Roode hit the glorious DDT. And by the way, the glorious song is still glorious. I love hearing it. So I was happy that obviously he came out to that. After the glorious DDT, he did go for the pin as well, but it was another near fall. So I liked that too. In the end, we do end up seeing Bron Breakker get the win. Perfectly A-okay. And as he's walking out of the ring, so we are going to be seeing that rematch between Bron Breakker and Dolph Ziggler. So as he's walking out of the ring, we see Dolph Ziggler from behind, basically approaching him. Once Bron Breakker turns around, Dolph Ziggler super kicks Bron Breakker in the face and basically tells him like, you're not going to be champion. You're never going to be at my level. And that's about it. So we all knew this is the way that things were going to turn out. Now it's just a matter of whether or not Bron Breakker wins at Stand and Deliver is going to be like, to me, a huge indicator of whether or not maybe we might see Bron Breakker, who knows, maybe go to the main roster during like the Raw after Mania. I would really like that, but I don't know if that's going to happen. It'd be badass. But we'll see what's going to happen there. We'll see if, he gets called up, if he's one of the surprises, who knows. But, so yeah, that match between him and Dolph Ziggler is going to be a major indicator of what they're going to do with that. So I'm looking forward to seeing that match. I think it'll be good. I think at the end of the day, Dolph Ziggler is going to, do all that he can to help Bron Breakker get over. Let's see if there was anything else I wanted to add to that about this match. No, I think I covered it all here. But let's go ahead and see what people are saying. This is a comment from Kev B, who says, people can nitpick all they want. Bron Breakker is excellent in the ring and is going to be a major star when called up to the main roster or NXT 2.0. Are people nitpicking Bron Breakker? I don't think I've seen any of that. I mean, I'm sure there is, right? It's the internet, but I haven't seen any of those comments just yet. But do not nitpick Bron Breakker. He's great. All right, let's go ahead and see what people are saying here. This is from Drew, who says, it's so weird Robert Roode can't get a singles run, give him a face turn and put him on SmackDown. Comes the next draft. I think he would do good stuff on, well, he was on SmackDown, but obviously he was there as a team with Dolph Ziggler, and they kind of had them have the same match multiple times over and over because the tag team division, you just see the same players wrestle each other. So they could mix that up, but let's see what we got here. This is Sean, who says Roode has been a jobber the whole time he was called up. Oh dear. Let's see what we got here. This is from Matt Logan, who says Roode versus Bron was decent, plenty of action. It was. It gave us just enough action in this match. Justin says it was really cool to hear the glorious song again. Very good match as expected. Agree there as well. Tony says, I didn't realize that Robert Roode was a fan of Big Papa Pump. And let's go ahead and see what else we got here. This is from King of Hueco Mundo, who says Bron Breakker character has been killed already. 100. The crowd wasn't that hyped for him as much as before. That's one of the things, guys. Like, I talked about this when Dolph Ziggler became champion, so I wasn't gonna talk about that again here today. But if you watch that show, you know my feelings about that, and he should have never lost the title to Dolph Ziggler. Never lost the title. Should have never lost the title to Dolph Ziggler. That's how I felt about that. I still think at the end of the day, people are going to have positive reactions for Bron Breakker because they still know that he's a guy that, people are pushing, that, that's being pushed, that, people are rooting for, and all of that. So at the end of the day, people know Bron Breakker is going to be a star, but they just can't keep doing things like what they did in terms of having him lose the title to Dolph Ziggler. Thank you so much to King of Hueco Mundo. All right, moving on from here, guys. And let's go ahead, and we got a couple more people saying they don't care for Bron Breakker right now. And I feel bad because there's a lot to care about him. It's just, unfortunately, he should have never lost the damn title to Dolph Ziggler. But I already cried about that last time. I ain't going to whine about it this time on another show again. Let's go ahead and move on from here, though. Let's see. After this, we got Grayson Waller versus A-Kid. And I got to say, so this was a qualifying match for the ladder match again. And so I like where we're headed. So A-Kid, I really liked his debut match last week with Kushida. I thought that was really fun, really exciting. I thought he did a lot. He really showcased himself. 2 thumbs up for A-Kid last week, right? So, and I was glad too that they gave him the win. And I know it sucks for Kushida, but you know what? I was glad that they gave A-Kid the win, considering that he was going into this qualifying match. Makes sense to give the kid a win, right? Okay, cool. So when it came to Grayson Waller versus A-Kid, part of me, I know that Grayson Waller is the more established guy on NXT, so I figured, okay, they're going to let him be in this ladder match. It makes sense to have Grayson Waller in this ladder match, but particularly for me, I wanted to see A-Kid in this ladder match. I wanted him to win just because I knew that he'd probably do a bunch of fun spots. And that's what I wanted to see. I'm you always, and granted, you already have Carmelo Hayes, who's in that match. He's going to do a bunch of cool stuff. Santos Escobar is going to do his fair share of great stuff too with the ladder match. So you do have a lot of guys, or rather 2 guys, that are going to bring the fun and the spots that you want to see in a ladder match, right? Okay, so Grayson Waller is going to do some of that too, but I did think that A-Kid would probably bring just a little bit more, right? So I was rooting for A-Kid during this match, even though I knew he wasn't going to win. I was rooting for him to take this one. This was a fun match. We saw a nice Hurricanrana from A-Kid, dropkick from A-Kid. We saw him go for the guillotine, but couldn't fully lock it in. Grayson Waller gets out of it. He hits the stunner on A-Kid and gets the win. So I was just a tad bit disappointed, but I do like Grayson Waller. I think he is good in the ring, so I like him. So I'm not too disappointed, but I felt even more happier about this. So now at this point, just to clarify, at this point of the show, it's now Santos Escobar, Carmelo Hayes, and also Grayson Waller, who is now in the NXT North American Championship ladder match. So Afterwards, we have Carmelo Hayes, who basically says that next week we are going to have a triple threat match, and this is going to include the loser. So all the guys who lost in the qualifying matches, they're all going to be in a match against each other. So whoever wins that match is going to take the last and final spot in the ladder match. So that is going to be Cameron Grimes, Roderick Strong, and also A-Kid. So I think the person that they should or most likely are going to go with, I think it's going to be Cameron Grimes. But if it's not Cameron Grimes, I'm rooting for A-Kid. Damn it. I'm rooting for A-Kid and hoping that he's the one that gets put into this match. But I do think it'll be Cameron Grimes. And either way, if it is Cameron Grimes, I think he'll add so much to that match as well. So this is definitely shaping up. So Hayes, Santos, Solo Sakoa, sorry, I forgot to mention Solo Sakoa, and Grayson Waller are the four people in this NXT match, NXT North American ladder match, and then we got the one more guy that's coming in here. So we'll see what happens, guys. Either way, I think it's going to be a good match, really good match. And thank you to Joel who reminded me to add Solo Sakoa. I forgot Solo Sakoa. All right, let's see what else we got here, guys. This is from King of Hueco Mundo, who says Escobar better get that belt. He has pure talent and has the heel character down. I've been rooting for Santos Escobar to be NXT North American champion for a while, but now's not the moment. It's got to be Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes has been doing a phenomenal job as champion. His matches have been bangers. They have been so good. I'm a fan of Carmelo Hayes. I want to see him retain I want to see him retain an NXT Stand and Deliver. Like, I'm sorry. I think he's probably one of the best things that has come out of NXT 2.0. Like, Carmelo Hayes and Bron Breakker, to me, are the best things that have come out of this new era of NXT. So I don't want to see Carmelo Hayes lose the championship at Stand and Deliver. Definitely do not want to see it. Let's see what else we got here. Let's go ahead and continue on. Let's see. Mike New York says, what about a Grimes heel turn? So I didn't watch his promo today, guys. I ran out really quickly and I didn't get to watch his promo. So I feel like I would have something better to say, but I missed the promo. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on from here. But that is something to think about. All right. Let's see what else we got here. After this next match, Creed Brothers versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. I was expecting way more for this one. Like, this could easily be like a pay-per-view or premium live event match. And this was a very quick match. We ended up seeing the Creed Brothers get the win very, very fast. Like, I almost feel they didn't have to do this match. I honestly feel that they didn't have to do this match here today because it didn't feel special at all. Like, it was just the fastest match ever, and Creed Brothers get the win. That's it. But what we do have to talk about is what happened afterwards. So after the match, we ended up seeing two guys that are dressed in black, and they're mystery guys, and they trashed the Creed Brothers locker room. They trash it. Now, if you guys recall, I believe it was 2 weeks ago when the Creed Brothers were attacked backstage. They had a bunch of things fall on them from the looks of it. All we know is that they were on the floor and there was toolboxes and bats surrounding them and they were holding on to their midsections and all of that. So they had been attacked, or rather blindsided, in the NXT parking lot. And so they've been trying to figure out who is it that attacked us. They asked MSK, they asked, Imperium, and everybody was saying it's not them, and we still didn't have an answer as to who it was. Now, from the looks of it, I'm thinking from what we saw here today, I'm still not entirely too sure. I'm curious to see what people think. I know a lot of people in the comments are bringing up Retribution, and I hope not, although we did have Retribution tendencies in this because they're in black, they're trashing the place, and this time they had the incorporation of the text messages, so we were seeing them send text messages. I don't know if it's going to be I don't think it's Retribution. I'm thinking it's just a brand new team. I don't know who, but I do not think it's Retribution, although they did have Retribution tendencies. So we'll find out soon. Let's see what else we got here. Everybody's thinking it's retribution. No, definitely not. Zeno Hour says, I think it's pretty deadly from NXT UK attack the Creed brothers, but secretly I hope it was the Briscoes. It's not going to be the Briscoes either. Oh man, yeah, definitely not the Briscoes either. And Joao Fernandez is the last two members of Retribution. No, not Retribution, guys. Stop it. Retribution 2.0. No. I didn't even think of that. Stop. No. I refuse. Sorry. I don't even have a brilliant comment. I just refuse. All right, moving on from here. Duke Hudson versus Gunther. I actually like this, and let me tell you why I liked this. So first of all, this was kind of made up in a goofy way. This match was put together in a goofy way. We had Dexter Loomis, who had just lost his match to Tony D'Angelo, was getting like trashed back. It was not favorable with Duke Hudson's comments. So he basically told him like through a drawing, like he could wrestle Gunther. Okay, fine. So they made Gunther versus Duke Hudson. They gave Duke Hudson a little bit more than I anticipated in terms of like they actually let him like even hit like a suplex on Walter. And I'm thinking, what? Stop making Walter look like a geek. Sorry, Gunther. Stop making Gunther look like a geek, right? And so thankfully, we were able to enjoy this match. And the reason why this was enjoyable was literally because Gunther was freaking chopping the hell out of Duke Hudson. Now, let me say something though really quick. So while he did throughout this entire match chop him multiple times, it was immediately after the first chop. The first freaking chop that Gunther gave to Duke Hudson, the first chop was so freaking loud, so freaking hard. His chest instantly turned pink after that one chop. He didn't even need the extra ones. He didn't even need the rest of the ones that he did. He didn't even need them, okay? It was just quick stuff, man. So kudos to Duke Hudson for taking that brutal chop. I did feel bad for him there, but it was enjoyable to see. This was fun. You know, we see Gunther hit him with a clothesline. We see him hit him with a couple more chops afterwards. And then he ends up getting the win. It's enjoyable. We just want to see Gunther chop people and get wins. That's all I want to see. It's really not that hard to book Gunther, guys. It really isn't. Now, here's the part that I didn't like. Here's the part where I was like, oh, come on. Why are you doing this to me? So post-match, we have LA Knight come out, and he comes out all bravo, macho man, coming out and basically saying, like, telling Gunther that he's going to basically take him out and, so hold on. I'm going ahead of myself. So LA Knight comes out. He's about to talk. Gunther shuts him up and tells him just to shut up and that he represents everything that is bad about the sport and da-da-da-da-da, right? And I'm thinking, all right, cool. Gunther, shut him up. Let's end it there. No. Instead, they have LA Knight basically telling him that he's going to knock Gunther out. And my whole thing, the second that I can't buy it. I can't buy it. Sue me, I cannot buy it. I can't buy LA Knight knocking down or knocking out Gunther, Walter, Gunther, whatever the hell you want to call him. I can't picture it. I'm sorry. I can't picture it. I'm out. It was not believable for me. And so I'm watching there going, no, you're not. And then I also didn't like that he called, I forgot what the exact word was, but they basically said like that he was dumb and this and that. And I'm thinking, no, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of making Gunther into this big, giant, dumb giant. I'm not a fan of that. That's not what's going to sell. Like Gunther gets over because he's going to kick somebody's ass and he's terrifying. That's how you get Gunther over, not by making him into some big dork. No, and like they've already done so much harm to him with just the freaking name change. And so for me, I don't necessarily love the way that they've been booking Gunther on NXT. I have not been a fan of it. I'm sorry, but I think that people like Gunther are rare and you need to take care of those people a little bit more. You need to protect them a little bit more. And I don't like that he hasn't necessarily been completely protected on the NXT roster. I just think you need a dominant guy, and that dominant guy should be Gunther. Like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of this. I was not a fan of what happened afterwards. But anyways, we're going to be seeing LA Knight versus Gunther at NXT Stand and Deliver. And I swear to God, if Gunther loses, I'm going to be freaking pissed. I don't care. I'm going to be pissed. Just leave it at that. I'm going to be freaking pissed off. And I don't get pissed off about things, but I will be pissed off if Gunther, Gunther, I don't care. If he loses to LA Knight, I'm going to lose my shit. Wow, I wasn't expecting to be that passionate. All right, let's go ahead and continue on from here. Let's see what we got. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see what people are saying. Sal P says, I think LA Knight is a star, though, although I agree about protecting Gunther. LA Knight has a great personality, but he's not Gunther. God, I hate calling him Gunther. He's not Walter, man. Walter has something different, okay? Walter is different. You can find other LA Knights, okay? There are other LA Knights out there. There are not very many Gunthers, Walters out there, okay? There just aren't. And you got to protect talent like that. You got something special. Like, imagine if like Walter stayed as Walter. Never mind, because everything that I imagine is just not going to work. I'm pissed. Now I just worked myself into a shoot. All right, let's see what we got here, guys. Thank you. Denise is speaking facts. I appreciate it. Pomi Wrestling says, LA Knight's credibility is not helped by the fact that he lost to Ziggler last week and 2 matches on a row against Waller, and even everything before that. Even everything before that, guys. It's not even like they've been like really building the guy up. Like, he's gotten over like recently, but everything before, they weren't treating him like a top guy until recently when they did that storyline with Grayson Waller. And that Grayson Waller storyline was like not anything OMG. All I'm trying to say here is you gotta protect Walter, Gunther a lot more differently. Protect the aura. The aura. There you go. The aura of Gunther. Protect it. And he's already just taken such a massive hit with the name change. I can't believe it. The name change like legitimately took so much out of it. And it's not even like Walter was the greatest name either. But it really did take a lot from who he is, and it took a lot from his aura. I'm sorry, but like, there is no way, like, oh, come on, guys. Please. It's not every day that you get matches like Walter versus Ilya Dragunov. Think about that, okay? Like, LA Knight's not going to have a match with Ilya Dragunov the way that Walter did twice. Think about that. And I'm just using LA Knight as an example because he's the one in the story, but it was like the same thing when they had Solo Sakoa try to like take out Gunther. And I'm like, come on, it's not believable. The man like literally went through war and hell with freaking Ilya Dragunov. Now you're expecting me to buy that he could be taken out by Solo Sakoa and LA Knight? I can't buy that. Oof. All right, that's how I feel about this. That's how I feel about this. And Nicholas Jacobs says his name is Walter, damn it. I wish they didn't change his name. I don't know what to call the guy. I don't know. It's terrible. I hate it because every time I post on Twitter, like, oh, it's, Gunther, because that's his name now, right? It's like, no, it's Walter. I know it's Walter, but it's not Walter no more. All right. Danielle Rodriguez says, Inner Wrestling Geek is coming out of you now. Right now, I love it. I try not to be that person. All right, let's go ahead and move on from here. Puppy Wrestling says, my guess is that since Walter versus Dragunov happened during Black and Gold era, it's no longer canon. That's the thing, too. Like, it makes you wonder because, like, that was my whole thought process, too. Like, I remember when, Sean was putting out, all these Fightful Select reports about how they're sort of undoing a lot of, like, what Triple H did, and we've seen it now. We've seen a lot of, Triple H's identity on NXT completely stripped away. Like, that's gone. That's been stripped away, right? But even so, like, the people behind the scenes, like, they all lost their jobs. Like, if you were a Triple H guy, like, you lost your job, right? Okay. So I was thinking about that. Like, Walter is somebody that screams, like, the Black and Gold era. Like, that's his style. Like, he screams that era, right? Even though So I almost feel like because of that, they're trying to like bring them down a couple of notches to fit into this NXT 2.0 version of NXT. And it's like, no, you can't just make me forget. I can't forget. Zeno Hour says Walter should make a TikTok account. Actually, if he just made a TikTok account like with all his highlights of chopping people, that'd be great, actually. That'd be really, really great. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. And Joel Fernandez says, watch Bron Breakker beat Walter in the future. If they were to do that, that's fine because if they build up Bron Breakker and because Bron Breakker is going to be a young and, is going to be a rising star, if you're going to bring a guy down like Walter, you do it with somebody that you're going to get over and who's going to become a massive star. So I wouldn't, like, if they did Bron Breakker versus Walter at some point and had Bron Breakker, beat Walter, that's fine because Bron Breakker is going to be this big star. And we know that, he's going to be, a future champion at some point. If everything goes as, we think it's going to go, right? You can't really estimate those things, but, that's basically what I'm trying to say. All right. Ed Pump says Walter reacting to Walter Chop highlights ratings. Walter could watch the chops that he's done and be like, I could have done better. That was like a 5 out of my 10 scale. I don't know, something dumb like that would be pretty funny, actually. All right, continuing on. I wasn't expecting to spend this much time on Gunther. All right, let's see what we got here. The finals of the Dusty Cup Classic. Before we get to the finals, just really quickly, guys, do not forget to come back tomorrow for my AEW Dynamite post show. It is my most popular show of the week. We have a good time, so make sure you guys come in for that. But let's get into the finals of the Dusty Cup Classic. We had Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray versus Dakota and Wendy Choo. This match was not great. They had a couple of good spots. Like a lot of the girls, they hit some of their good moments, right? But just as a whole, this didn't feel like a finals match. This did not feel like the finals of the women's Dusty Cup. I think that they should have had more time. They could have taken out, what was the match that I was saying earlier that they could have taken out Dexter Loomis and Tony D'Angelo. They could have taken that match out. Hell, they could have taken out Creed Brothers and Grizzled Young Veterans because that match was like nothing. And they could have given more time to this match, to this main event. It just didn't really live up, I think, to the spectacle of what the finals should be for the 2022 Women's Dusty Cup Tournament. So this did not feel like a finals match. This just felt like a tag team match. So for the win, we did end up seeing Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai get the win. Io Shirai hit her moonsault on Wendy Choo, and she got the win. Cool. There was nothing else that I could add about this match that I legitimately thought that made it stand out, that made it feel like a finals match. Also, post-match, Toxic Attraction comes out as they're celebrating, and instead, so Kaylee Ray basically says that instead of them like going for the titles, they have decided to make Mandy Rose's match an NXT Stand and Deliver. Instead of it being Mandy Rose versus Cora Jade, they have decided to use their win to essentially make this into a fatal 4-way for the women's championship at Stand and Deliver. So even though they didn't officially announce it, it's looking like it's going to be Mandy Rose versus Cora Jade versus Kaylee Ray versus Io Shirai, which I see the pros and cons to this. The con is, well, that definitely defeats the purpose of this tag team tournament because this is supposed to be about tag teams. So it kind of defeats that purpose. But at the exact same time, it's going to make this Mandy Rose Cora Jade match a lot better with Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai incorporated into it. So choose however you want to see it. Other than that, there's nothing else. That was NXT. Let's get some comments here. This is from Nick Grasso, who sends in a super chat. Thank you so much to Nick, who says, so Kaylee Ray and Io are just making up rules now. Here I thought it was the Dusty Tag Team Classic. They must not have faith in Cora Jade and Mandy Rose to have a good singles match. It's literally what I just went over. It's true. It's true. Like, this is a whole women's tag team tournament, and you're supposed to, further the women's tag team division. So I kind of feel like if they were going to do that, if they were going to make it a fatal 4-way, they could have done it some other way. Like, they could have easily done it some other way where you could have incorporated Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray into this match and have it been a fatal 4-way. while also still doing the Dusty Cup and maybe having a different team win. Like you could have had you could have had freaking oh my gosh, Casey and Caden, who, you know, they were so good in this, like from what we saw in their tournament, they've been good as a tag team. They're an actual tag team. So like had they won the Dusty Cup, it would have done so much for them. They would have really established themselves like even more so as a, you know, as a tag team. So I think that they should have had, you know, someone like them win and, you know, really solidify them. Cool. And then you could have just done an entirely different story and still incorporated Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai into that women's fatal four-way. So I don't like how all of this was clunked in together. This has been one of my pet peeves for the women's division on the main roster too. And I've talked about this a lot on the Raw Post Show, where I don't like when they mix in the women's tag team division with the women's main title picture. I don't like that. I think it just puts everything into one box, and those things should be separate. I don't like that they always just throw in the women together and mix them around like soup. I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. So I feel like they kind of did the exact same thing here today on NXT, and I'm not a fan of that. But then again, now the match is going to be better, but they could have gone about it. They could have gone about it a different way is what I'm trying to get at. So thank you so much to Nick Grasso for sending in a super chat and stating your opinion as well. And this is from Danny the Red, who says, looks like Gigi is kind of injured. She got out of the ring when Mandy and JC attacked Io and Kaylee, so I suppose they're unable to defend the tag team titles. And this is from let's see what else we got here. This is from Christopher, who says, Denise, you're speaking facts. The Dusty Tag Team Classic is supposed to be a shot for the tag titles. Yep, there you go. Tony asks who's going to challenge Gigi and JC for the women's tag team titles. I don't know. Zeno Hour says, I kind of like the idea of the Dusty Classic winners as contenders for single titles instead of the tag titles, but then it's like, what's the purpose? You could have just done a tournament you could have done qualifying matches. You didn't have to do the Dusty Cup tournament though for them to end up getting the title shot for the NXT Women's Championship, you know? Like it's two totally different things. Don't mix it around. That's kind of how I feel about that. And then let's see what else we got here. This is from Pomi, who says, it really gives me the vibes that either they don't care about the tag titles, someone is injured, or they don't trust Mandy versus Cora to deliver at Stand and Deliver. Yeah, I agree with all of those listed items that you put up there. Sean Williams says, I'm not a fan of that. Sums up my experience watching this show. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see if I missed anything here. Tony says, what the hell was Kaylee Ray thinking? A fatal four-way for the NXT Women's World Championship makes no sense. Yep. So I think we're all kind of on the same page there. Alrighty, guys. I think that is about it. That is today's NXT post show. We did it. Whoop whoop. All right, I'll be back tomorrow night. I hope you guys have a phenomenal next 24 hours until I see you. Take care. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Give this video a like, subscribe to F4W. Toodaloo. Bye-bye.